deep into one of the fastest growing and in-demand fields in tech. Yes, you're right, data profiles. We hope this session helps clear your doubts and gives you practical, actionable advice for cracking internships in this domain. There will also be a question and answer session at the end. So please post your queries in the box and stay with us.
We are thrilled to be joined by three incredible individuals who have secured data-centric internship at some of the top companies. First, we have Priyavrat Mishra, currently interning at Piramal Finance. Priyavrat, could you please introduce yourself to the audience? Priyavrat, you are muted.
So, hello everyone. My name is Priyavrat Mishra, and I'm in the Department of Electrical Engineering, currently in retail finance in the Business Intelligence Unit of Piramal Finance for 2 months internship. And that's it. I don't think my hall or anything else will be that much relevant. So,
Yeah. Thank you, Priyavrat.
Also with us is Priyanshu Singh, interning at AWL. Priyanshu, could you share a little about yourself?
So, hi everybody. I hope I'm audible. So my name is Priyanshu Singh, and currently I'm a final year student. I've just cleared my examinations, and I'm an integrated dual degree course student of mechanical engineering with specialization in artificial intelligence and machine learning applications. Currently, I'm interning at AWL Inc., which is a Japanese-based deep tech firm, and I'm currently enrolled in the R&D unit of the AWL Inc. So yeah, this is about me.
Thanks
And
a lot,
finally,
Priyanshu.
yes. And finally, we have Sayan Ghosh, who is interning at AWL. Sayan, could you tell us a bit about your journey so far?
Okay, I'll start with the introduction. My name is Shan Ghosh. I'm now a fifth year student at IIT Kharagpur from the Department of Chemical Engineering, and I have my specialization, basically the MTech in the Department of AI. Um, Also, sorry, I think I messed up. I am doing my BTech in Chemical Engineering and my specialization in AI. Yeah, I'm currently interning at AWL, same as my friend Priyanshu. I'm in the R&D team of the company, and I'm having an on-site internship here at Japan. Uh, what else about the journey you guys need?
It's okay. We only need an introduction. Throughout the meet, I hope we'll get to know you more. And thanks, Sayan, for the introduction.
Okay, so before we jump into the questions, congratulations once again to all of you for bagging these amazing internships.
Let's start off with a very important question. When did you decide to target data-related roles specifically? Did you consider other profiles like software development or quant before narrowing it down? Priyavrat, would you like to start?
sure. So, as I was mentioning before the meet, like I had a friend who pushed me more. He look at this guy, he's doing so much, and we are not doing anything. So I explored a lot of roles, and I'm from Radhakrishnan also. Matlab, you get a lot of exposure to general championship. So I attended all the workshops. I tried OpenSoft and figured out that development is not for me. And then I tried data analytics. I started enjoying it. Took part in the general championship for data analytics, and through that I got to know that yes, this is the role for me. That I can do this for like at least 5 or 6 years more. So that is how I got into data analytics.
Great. Now, Priyanshu, would you like to share your thoughts on this?
Okay, so while I was in my second year, so there is an open IIT competition. I guess most of you will be knowing about this. So I started my ML journey from there. So I participated there in the hall team, and eventually we bagged the second position there. And throughout the process, I found out the process very much interesting because it was my first time into the ML field. Then eventually I started learning the things, like I mentioned earlier, that I started from the N2NG and eventually went on to do an internship at the IIT KGP itself, a research internship under professor. And then eventually I learned the things as through the application of the particular algorithms and all the stuff by taking part in the various hackathons, be it MX, Goldman Sachs, and other stuff. And during my third year in the winters, I did an internship in the field of computer vision with the winter. So this is how I got into this field, and I explored other fields like SD as well. So I like tried DSA a bit and found it like not very much, I would say, interesting to me. As I was struggling in the DSA related concepts, so I found out that machine learning and data would be the field I should be continuing so that I could continue this in future as I was enjoying it and learning the new things. As you know that rapid advancement is being taken in this field. So this is how I uh, decided to pursue for the data role.
Okay, that was great. And Sayan, would you like to add something about your experience in this field?
So it was in my first year. I had like there was one of my friend who was already very good in AI and ML stuff. So it was like kind of a friendly challenge that I challenged him that one day I'll be better than him in MLs and AI things. Spoiler, I am still not as good as he is, but uh, throughout the my journey in college, I was just chasing to be as good as him, and it just happened that at some point in time, I fell in love with the speed. So yeah, that's it. I was like constantly, I was doing only these things, only random projects, random online hackathons. Never tried those big stuffs like the inter-IIT techs and anything, but I kept on doing whatever I could related to AI. That's how. And
Okay,
apart from that, regarding software development, I thought of it as a backup. Like if this doesn't work for me, that might work. So yeah.
okay, that was great. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts on this.
Okay, so for those unsure about which portfolio to pursue, especially between SD and data roles, what would be your advice be? Mr. Priyavrat, any thoughts?
It depends. It depends upon your choice, what you like more. For me, it was like, as some of you will come to know when the CDC portals opens for you, that you can make 3 CVs. I made only one, and it had 5 points. Five of them were data projects and competitions. So don't be like me. Uh, I would suggest have a backup always, and SD is a very good backup. And some people choose data as a backup too, which is also fine. But for me, it was data and data only. I explored both of the fields and then made my choice on my experiences because, as I told, I did the workshops for OpenSoft. I was given some tasks. I was learning HTML, CSS, and after a day or two, I had to make some modal or something. And at that point, I thought, what am I doing? I don't like this at all, and still I'm doing just because everybody knows development. I still don't know anything about it. So yes, go whatever your heart says and choose and stick with it. That's what I would suggest to you. Probably.
Priyanshu, do you want to add something?
So I would like to say that if somebody is like in the summers and deciding to choose that if he wants to pursue data or SD, so he should be clever. Like if if one doesn't have any experience in the data, like if he doesn't had any courses or didn't had any projects or taken part in hackathons, then it is better that you should pursue for SD as DSA is something which will be asked in both of the profile. So if you have like decent data knowledge, like some amount of knowledge, then you can eventually learn DSA during the summers. But if you do not have knowledge of data, then preparing for DSA as well as building the projects and building the profile becomes difficult. So you should be like clever enough to choose between those. As well as I wouldn't like anybody to target a particular profile and reject the other profile. So it is better to have backup. So like as mentioned by Priyavrata, somebody chooses data as the backup, somebody chooses SD as the backup. So for data, you should have some like prior knowledge if you are trying to choose it as a like option of career during the internship.
Sayan, any thoughts?
Most of the points are covered by both of them, but I'd like to share one advice that was given to me by my senior during my CDC time, is that people tend to, during the CDCs and placement, tends to change their entire career based on whatever jobs they are getting or the company they are being shortlisted to.
Mhm.
They just randomly apply in anything they are eligible for. I would recommend don't do that. Have a priority that this is what I'm going to work for the next 10 to 15 years. And if that doesn't work, have a backup for that thing. These two should be the only options. Don't randomly apply in all the fields, and if you get selected, don't just change your entire career. You will later regret. It wasn't something you were aiming for, but now you are stuck with it. You have to go on with that. So you'll regret that later. Just an advice.
Okay.
Thanks for the
Thank
advice.
yes, and thank you for those insights. Now, moving on, can you walk us through the selection process for your data internship? Please include the number of assessments, rounds, and the question formats like uh, where you asked any SQL related questions, case studies, ML questions, etc. Any one of you would like to take this up?
Okay, so from what I remember, our assessment started from 16th of July 2024, and like there was a trial window from 19th to 21st or 22nd, if I remember correctly. And at that point of time, it was like CD has to conduct so many ways that the test started at 6:30 in the morning, ended at 12 at night, with 15 minutes breaks in between. No time for lunch, nothing else. Yeah, so I would say first of all, prioritize your OAs because as you would see from prior recruitments of the companies that what they choose over whom. And secondly, like I'll come back to my experience of it. So I gave a lot of OAs. A lot of companies are open for me. I applied for all of them except one, and I won't say the company, and I won't say why. Uh, I applied for all the companies. I gave all the ways. I did not get a shortlist on day one. Zero shortlist on day one. So everybody gets sad. I also got like my mood was down and I didn't want to do anything. My friends with whom I was preparing, one got internship at Morgan Stanley, one got an internship at Kepler Canon. Both of them day one morning, and I had nobody to. Look, we were like a group who were working towards the CDC process, and now I was alone. Nobody was working together with me. So in that day one, what I did, I just prepared on my CV that if by any chance there's an extended shortlist and I get shortlisted, I would be prepared. At least I would be prepared with my CV. Did not get the shortlist on day two. Day two shortlist came in the evening of day one. There was zero companies who shortlisted me, so I just went to sleep. In the morning, I woke up. My roommate was there. He asked me, "What's your roll number?" I said 93. So he said, get up fast. You have got an extended shortlist at Oracle." And as he said it, there was a call from the placement office. One placement called me that they would have come to Nalanda in 15 minutes. I had just woken up. So my friends helped me a lot. Like one guy was bringing my shoes, one guy was putting up my blazer, one guy was tying my tie. One guy sat with me in the Toto and was making me revise all the DSA because Oracle was not a data role. He was making me revise all the extra algorithms and how do you do topological sort and everything. So I had 3 rounds of Oracle. I went there at 12 noon. I reached there by 12 noon. I came back at 6:30 in the evening. I got a call after 15 minutes that you are not selected. So again, that week between day two and day three, it goes like if you feel that you can get a shortlist at day one and day two, and if you don't, that week goes like very bad. You again go to Nalanda because the classes have started. The OAs are held in the evening. You attend all the classes, you go to labs, then you run to Nalanda to give all the OAs. You see people giving the OAs. I remember that at in one of the exams, I think Alpha Grep, I one point to note, I do my CP in Java. Okay, so and Java was not preferred language in alpha group.
Yeah.
There was no option to give your O in Java. So a lot of like there were 100 people sitting in that Nalanda classroom giving the test, and I had to get up and leave because it's better to leave rather than sit there for an hour and a half and watch every person's face. So I left that hall. I came back. I again started preparing for more things because, as I said, data companies, there are a lot less data companies than there. So I started studying about computer architecture and everything. Then it was Friday. It was 2nd of August, and Pyramid's test was conducted on Friday. The time it was from 12 to 7, and I had a lab from 2 to 5. And there was a one more OA at 6:30 of Excella. So I thought it would be best to give my OA before the lab. I started giving the test, and it went on for like 2.5 hours. So the test ended at 2:30. I left for my lab at 2:45, and one of the very famous professors, Saurabh Patra, he was my professor for that lab. He said that I will not allow you to enter. So I missed one of my labs for this, and then I came to the main building, and your Communiqués. This was going to be an intro seminar on that 2nd of August. I remember, if I remember correctly. And I was there with my friend. His name is Sujoy. You might know him. And I was there with him. Then in the evening, day three shortlist came for Saturday, the next day. And I got shortlisted into two companies. One was Samsung Research Bangalore, and one was SLB, Schlumberger. So I left the main building. I went to my hall. I started preparing for it. And at 3 o'clock at night, Pyramid shortlist came. Interestingly, SLV and Pyramid both started at 9 and Samsung started at 10. So I had to choose between which companies I had to go. I was just preparing my CV, going through all the points which are there in my CV one by one, one by one. I left my room at 7:30 in the morning. I reached Nalanda by 8. I asked the place comms that what should I prefer. So he only suggested me that go to Pyramid. It will be short and that is your preferred role also. So I went for Pyramid. I gave my first round. I when I was coming out of the room, uh, went for SLV because Samsung did not start yet. I went for SLV. There was a GD. The first round of SLV was a GD. While I was giving the GD, I got a call from the Priscom that come fast. You are shortlisted for the second round. I ran back to the there were 2 floors difference between both the classrooms. So I ran back to Pyramid. I gave my second round for Pyramid, and I got a call that you are shortlisted for second round of SLV. I thought that okay, let's hold on for now. Let me go to Samsung first and give its round at least. While I was packing my bags to leave the classroom, the placement told me that don't go anywhere. They are offering you and you are selected. Just wait for the mail. So I was waiting. I waited for half an hour. I called my friend, which I told you that helped me get into data, pushing me harder for getting me that course. And I called my friend and told him that yes, they are telling that they are offering. Then I waited for 40 minutes. There was no mail. And the placement told me that there will be one more round. And I thought that you didn't even let me go to Samsung. Now you're saying there is one more round. But that was just an HR round, nothing very formal. They only asked me that if you can come to Bangalore or not. And then after that round, the offer was given and I was called and told to leave Nalanda immediately. So that's my experience.
Okay, that's quite a roller coaster, but thank you for sharing that. And others, would you like to share your journey? Okay.
So like I would like to share upon it a bit. So basically, we had like a test, online assessment, 1 hour simple online assessment consisting of 4 coding questions and couple of MCQs related to deep learning algorithms, the transformers, and the Gen AI stuff. And then we had like a shortlist which was released a day before the interview, and then we went on to give the interview at around 9. And then we had like for me, it was just a single round, 40 minutes straight interview, discussing upon the projects that I have worked on, questioning the methodology and the metrics. So basically, they focused more on the projects which were related to deep learning. Yeah, this is all. This was like a short interview kind of thing, 30 minutes. And then I got the offer in the afternoon, I guess. So I had like other interviews of Zepto during that day. So I went on to give the Zepto's interview, which was also based on the data science profile. But by the time I went there, so they had already selected 2 or 3 candidates. So I mean, they just finished their recruiting process, and I just gave the first round of interview there. And by the time I finished my Zepto's interview, I got the offer from AWS. Yeah, this is my selection process.
Okay, that was informative. Let's move on to the next question. Rohan, take it. Your mic is off, Rohan.
Yes, right. Can you please share how you developed the technical skills needed for your role in data? Were there any specific tools, courses, or experiences that helped you the most? Mr. Sayan, could you go first?
Uh, Mostly, I would say the skills that you require the most, particularly in a data role, is the understanding of the mathematics. To be honest, like even till after my second year, I used to be like, oh, I know how to use a library and how I can code a thing using the simple standard everything. But in third year, when I started to learn the mathematics behind it, it like opened a whole new world to me to explore. Like initially, it was for me, okay, I can use a TensorFlow library, I can build a simple linear regression thing, and it's done. But when you start getting into the mathematics of it, you realize there is a whole lot of stuff that's going on in the back end that you don't even realize. Uh, like even I had this misconception, what's the use of even a probability or statistics in a simple ML thing? You just are doing a regression. It's not even that hard. But when you start getting into the mathematics, you realize why is it needed. And I'm thankful that I learned the mathematics behind it because right now in my internship, I have to take a paper and pen, sit down in the office, scribble down the mathematics to understand the task that I have to do by the end of the day. So this is, I guess, one of the core skill that is needed for the data role. Like you have to like Python and DSA, everything is a mandatory thing. Yeah, right. You have to know Python, you have to know how to do DSA. But specific to the data role, I would say go with the mathematics, probability statistics, matrix, algebra, and calculus as well. Because as we all know, ML models and even AI models uses calculus, and in a higher level you are going to deal with tensors, so you have to know the specifically matrix calculus, which is very less explored even in our the courses that are being offered in our campus. So that is something I would say people have to focus on.
Okay, I will keep that in mind. Priyanshu, would you like to add something?
Like Sam mentioned, most of the thing that mathematics is one of the key resources which needs to be known for the data related profile. So for Python and statistics, I think Python is a necessary language if you are opting for data profile. Like in some of the companies, they do even ask you to code in the Python, like some of the sample DSA problems. For me, it was like traveling salesman problem, which is a standard problem. They asked me to code in Python and knowing some of the libraries like NumPy and pandas and all those stuff. Like eventually, if you build up on the project, you'll be knowing all those libraries. So knowledge of libraries is needed, and some knowledge of statistics, like probability and statistics, which you have standard courses in your second year, is needed. So you can like prepare for it. For SQL, till date, I haven't found any interviews where I was asked upon the SQL. So I think that is not a very much necessary skill. uh, you can prepare post after getting your shortlist and all the stuff, you can prepare the SQL part. So yeah, like you should focus more on Python, mathematics, and statistics, I would say.
Okay. Priyanshu, how about you? Priyavrat, how about you?
I think both of my co-panelists mentioned everything. Like, yes, SQL is not needed that much because the companies ask you from their side only that do you know database management and SQL. Don't lie, just say no, and they'll just tell you that okay, learn it because it won't take much time. SQL is not something which will take half of your semester to learn. So just be true to yourself. And Python, I don't think it is needed that much. You have to know each and every bit of Python because while applying ML models, it's basically similar to whatever language you know, easier in some cases. And stats is very important. You have to know stats. You have to know the mathematics behind each and every model because each and every model that you that in your CV will be asked and should be asked by the company. So they will ask you the mathematics behind it, how it works, how will you how the computer approaches it, how the model works, how each and every step is calculated and carried out in the architecture. It's very important.
Okay. Thank you. That was really informative.
Okay, moving on to the next segment. What resources did you use? Yes, Shayan, you want to say something?
Yeah, just wanted to add something because I believe most of the people here already know about this, but just to be safe, guys, please learn how to use a GitHub because back in the campus, two or three of my juniors, they never knew how to use GitHub. They used to say कि हम तो ऐसे website पे जाके कर लेंगे, but know how to use a GitHub through a terminal because most of the time you will be building your projects either in VS Code or Visual Studios or stuff. So you have to know how to use a GitHub through the terminal. Sometimes there are features, I mean, you can use a GitHub through the website, but know how to use it through a terminal because it's quick, it's easy, it's efficient, and most of the company wants it. That's it.
Okay, so as you mentioned GitHub, I wanted to ask, like, could you, like, on the top of your head, mention some resources to like learn GitHub specifically? Because as you said, it's a big issue for most people. Any resources you have?
For GitHub, there's no one particular resource to be honest. You can type in the YouTube, and I believe there would be like one hour long or 2 hour long crash courses. I mostly by I guess what's the channel name? Free Code Camp. I think it's something
Yes.
freecodecamp.org. It's one of the YouTube channel. Another, I guess, it's coding with Smosh, guy, that guy, or from the popular one from India, it's coding with Harry, I guess. So
Yep.
these three
Yeah.
peoples mostly covers all the basics of the GitHub that you need to know at least on the internship level.
Okay. Yeah, Priyavrat, you want to share some resources with us?
I very much agree with Shyam because GitHub is very important. Okay, the first day I came, I got to know that I have to learn GitHub. Even if I have not learned it in my campus, I have to learn it now. One of the resources which I used is the guy named Kunal Kushwaha. Go for it. I think many of you might know him. Go for him. He explains very well. So I just wanted to add that.
Okay, that was insightful. Now moving on to the next segment. What resources did you use to strengthen your knowledge in areas like data cleaning, EDA, and data visualization? Or like in general, any specific platforms or tools like Kaggle, Tableau, or Power BI you would recommend for the upcoming experience in the data profile? Priyavrat, would you like to continue in this?
So the resources that I used was first I got that Coursera course of end-to-end GML specialization. Then I got that DL specialization to just to know the mathematics behind the things. There's one YouTube channel. I don't know if you know him or not. The channel's name is Campus X, and that channel has a playlist known as 100 Days of ML. It was suggested to me by my good friend
Yeah.
Suvarno Maji, and he was doing data from that channel since like first year. So I also started using going through that channel, and his playlist is like structured very well. Starts with data pre-processing, goes into models, and those then goes into the intricacies of each and every model and everything. So, and even if you go through all the resources in the world, you won't get hands-on knowledge if you don't apply it. So go through these and get into some competitions, and GC is a very big uh, platform for each and everyone to get on. So I would like to share.
Okay, thank you for the insights. Others, resources which you follow, which you find useful? Priyanshu, would you like to say something?
So, like you mentioned about the Tableau and Power BI, I don't think Tableau and Power BI is much needed, as these are basic tools which are used for visualization purposes. So, like you aren't expected to know all the tools available there. As far as the data cleaning and EDA kind of thing is required, so you should be doing an end-to-end project. Maybe just pick up some Kaggle data sets and try to implement and benchmark upon the leaderboard. So there is a leaderboard there in the Kaggle. In whichever popular data set you pick up, you try to build this solution from the problem statement and apply various algorithms. And if you find something like difficult, like you want to know the mathematics behind it, then you can just refer some of the blogs, because the moment you type any of the stuff there, you will just see a good Medium blog there. So you can study the Medium blog. It's written well there. So you can, so you have to be smart, like do not just follow a simple resource or kind of thing, so that becomes monotonous. So I would like to like ask the aspirants to be dynamic enough, like search for some things and get the things from the Medium and other blogs and study all the stuff. And be like Kaggle is one of the good platforms to test your knowledge. So keep giving competitions or sample competitions from Kaggle. That is all.
Okay, and Priyanshu, I would like to also ask you something. Yeah, as you mentioned, you did your project on computer vision also. So how much like just like these, using computer vision, very mainstream right now, help in getting these roles? If you want to shed some light on this.
So like basically I did the DL course from the end-to-end, the course which is available there. And then I started with the MNIST datasets, like basic datasets which are available in the Kaggle. Then eventually I took part in one of the competition where like it was Beltech competition, where we had to kind of identify the like there is particular thing which needed to be identified, which was again a Kaggle competition. And we also took part in one of the competitions by the Intel. So like there needed to be a design of website which was needed to be given to them, and we had to the user would be entering a particular crop, and we like to like give the information that what could be that particular crop and all those things. So during my second year summers and third year starting, I was working in this kind of basic Kaggle competition, and eventually I upgraded to some of the better competition. So I think Kaggle is go through way, and like eventually learning the things and application which I have like emphasized multiple times. So this is how I learned the things.
Okay, all of your insights was quite helpful indeed. Now we'll move to next question.
So, how important is DSA for data profiles and what level of preparation is sufficient? Sayan, your take?
It's this big or more than that, because to be honest, people usually confuse DSA. It's just for the software engineering and stuff. It's not. DSA is how you can store data, access data, use the algorithms to make the code run fast. And even in ML or AI projects, you are just using datas and you are coding stuff, right? Um, and for DSA, most of the people go for C++, which is a good thing. And I am lucky enough because my work here in Japan doesn't use even a single line of Python. All the development of AI models, everything from end-to-end deployment and stuff uses C++, and I have to deep dive in DSA. Like before CDC, I just had an amateur level of preparation in DSA to crack the OAs and everything. But when I'm here working every day after my shift ends, I have to come home and learn the DSA stuff on my own so that the next day I can show the task. So DSA is very important even in data profiles. Don't think that DSA is just for the software guys. We don't have to do it. Or we can just code anything in Python and do stuff. No, even Python uses C++ in the backend to run its code. Python is kind of a wrapper for the C++ to make the what to say the syntax and semantics of the language easier. So DSA is needed, and also C++ is very much important for data roles.
Mr. Priyanshu, would you like to add anything?
Like Sayan mentioned about the practical aspects of DSA in the company side, I would like to mention that eventually, if you are sitting for a data role, there will be online assessment which will be conducted, and you will be eventually asked to code this stuff. So, like there will be like 4 or 3 questions which will be given to you, something like similar to SD profile. That will be on a easier side as compared to SD profile. So, like getting familiar with the standard problems and knowing the algorithms, like basic algorithms related to graph, DP, like patterns in the DP is needed. So you should be like well aware about it. As well as I would like to, like I mentioned earlier, like some of the companies do ask to code specifically in the Python. So if you are somebody like who knows Python and other stuff and are sitting for the data profile as well, so you should try to like code some of the simpler problems, like standard problems in Python, just to get a knack of it.
Right. And Priyavrat, your take?
There is no company who doesn't ask DSA. So you have to do DSA eventually at some point of time. Because at the end of the day, you're coding stuff, right? Even if you're in dev, even if you are in ML or data profile, you have to know DSA.
Right. So, Sayan, if you don't have access to Python over there, then do you have to hard code each and every algorithm? Like you don't have access to scikit-learn, no?
It's not like that. Basically, the thing is, in our R&D team, there's two division, right? So one of the group, they build the AI models using Python. It takes them like 2 hours or 3 hours to build it. And they train the model. They give us the trained weights. I hope you guys know the trained weight files.
Yes.
Our task is to prepare an end-to-end pipeline for that model so that it could be deployed on any device or any using any of the framework. To give you a little glimpse, suppose one of you coded like an MNIST model using a standard Python on a Jupyter notebook and you gave me the weight. Now my task is to make this model run either on Raspberry Pi, on Android, on laptop, I mean on Windows, on Linux, on anything, and how quick can I make that code run? For an example, in Raspberry Pi, the RAM available to you is only in megabytes, right? So
Yeah.
you cannot deploy the entire model over there. So I have to like be clever in how can I, use that trained weight, make inferences on it, take input, take output, because that's going to cost the RAM. It might get 100% utilized and the Raspberry Pi can crash out. So that is what I have to focus more on. And to answer your questions, do I have to hard code? No, because already there exists some libraries in C++ as well, which you can take help of. For example, in Python, we have NumPy. In C++, we have Eigen. For Python, we have PyTorch. And similarly, for C++, they have Torch, just Torch, and it's from the same company. So I don't have to hard code everything, but yes, I do have to make use of the DSA as much as possible so that nothing gets overshooted in time.
Yeah. Thanks for the detailed answer. Now moving on to the next question. Uh, what kind of projects add strong value to a CV for data roles? Do recruiters prefer end-to-end ML projects, dashboards, or domain-specific case studies? Priyavarat, your thoughts?
It depends upon the company on the requirements. For me, it was like I had one project. It was of 2024 General Championship. My first interview, I was asked on that project for 50 minutes. My second interview, I was asked on that project for 45 minutes. I was thinking, I have already explained this to your guy. Why are you asking me this? Projects, I would say, I'll mention all my 5 projects. One was a research internship which I got from ISL, foreign training program of theirs. One was general championship. One was there was a project by there was a competition by MX. It was known as decisions science track something. It was one of those. One was a self project and one was like the GC before it, some predictive maintenance or something. So these were my 5 projects, and what I would say, it depends upon the company. Like Ramal had a need for Gen AI, and the project of the GC project of mine had Gen AI in it. So uh, I am hoping that they chose me on that. So uh, yeah, projects. It's like go for competitions more. Don't do that many self projects because they don't add that much value. Go for competitions more. Go for if you can. Go for if you have time. I know right now there's no time, but if people have time, if they are watching for next year or next year, uh, have some internships in your CV. Those are much more important than self projects in your CV. And go for competitions also because competitions basically being in a competition a team based competition means that means you can work with a team, you can organize, you can coordinate between many people, you can, and if you're a vice captain or captain in that team, that showcases your leadership skills also. So that's my point.
Yes. Priyanshu, anything to add?
Like, I would like, as mentioned by Priyavrat, that it depends from company to company. In my case, they were looking for mostly deep learning based projects since it is a deep tech firm. So they mainly analyzed my computer vision related stuff. So the internship which I did was related to computer vision, as well as the research internship which I did was related to computer vision. So they mainly targeted those things in the interview, as well as like you should be participating in the competitions and having end-to-end ML projects. So in competitions will be like starting from the problem statement, then developing the solutions, and then we'll be having metrics. Since metrics are really very important in your resume, the numbers like do create an impact. So like yes,
Okay.
it depends from company to company, and like try to take part in hackathons, even though you like do not secure any positions or any other thing, but even if you have tried and got some results, like do not try to inflate the results too much. Have some explainability about the numbers which you are including there, so like have overall knowledge about the projects which you are including in your resume. And again, it depends from company to company what project they are looking for.
Right. Sayan, your take on this?
Uh, might be a little contrary to what others said because I had no competitions or anything added to my CV. It was just, I guess, one internship, one publication, and 2 projects. But yeah, as both of them said, it depends on the company. I was lucky enough that they just grilled me on my projects, whatever I have done, and my publications. So that's it. I mean, I to be short and precise, whatever you are adding to the CV, be clear about it. Don't, I've seen people taking others' project and adding it to their own CV, but they have no idea what the project is about, what it is. So yeah, just keep your CV, add to your CV whatever you know. And if you're adding something else, please learn about it end to end. Because the interviewer, if they get a hint that you are just faking about the CV, or if there's a project that's not your own, if they get a hint of it, they are going to grill you to the death regarding that.
Right. Thank you for the answers.
Okay, next up, regarding this only, could you each briefly describe one project that made you stand out from the rest? Like, just briefly describe the outline, like what process you followed, and like what did the interview like about that project? We would start with Sayan, if you could.
So it was like a personal project I did 4 months ago before the CDC. So it was like in the month of December, I was exploring LLMs and everything. So I was very keen to know how everything works. Even from the basic, like how a sentence is broken into tokens, how they are processed, how they are, converted into data matrix, and how everything works. So since I was so keen, I wanted to build a small LLM from scratch with a chatbot, so that when you train it on certain number of books, then you can ask a question regarding any of the things that was there in the book, and it can give you an answer. It was not perfect, but it was giving some answers. So yeah, it was like, how to say, it's like 40% of what you can see in the first version of ChatGPT. It's close to that, 40% to that. And since I built it from scratch, I learned a lot of things about LLMs and other general stuff. So this was one of the projects that stood out for me in the interview, because they kept on asking questions regarding this project only for, I guess, 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, this was one of the projects.
Nice. Moving on to Yanshu, would you like to explain your project in brief?
I had similar company in which Sain is working. So they were mostly looking for deep learning based projects. So what happened is that I had done my internship in the computer vision, as mentioned earlier. So basically, the project was analyzing the defects from the weld. Basically, we'll be having a weld section, and then we'll be analyzing the defects. So the company which I worked during the winter, so they had like customers Toyota and Hero. So they had to analyze once the section is welded. So post that, the radiograph image was needed to be taken, and they like there used to be a like a checker kind of thing who used to check that whether that particular section has been welded properly or not. So they wanted to automate that process using the computer vision sort of thing. And similar kind of projects I worked on during my research internship as well. So they kind of grilled me on this concept as well. And I had like one personal project where I implemented a research paper from scratch, like end to end, which was regarding the human action activity recognition. Again, said that they mainly focus on my computer vision project. So these were the two computer vision projects which was there in my CV. So they kind of like asked me that why you did it this project, and did you deployed it? What kind of in a video we have like frames. So what kind of frames per second you use? So these were the things which they asked to me during my interview.
Okay, good. Now, Priyavrant, if you want to share something about your project, which made you stand out.
Yeah, I told you about it. It was the Data GC project. We were
Yeah,
silver. So any podium standouts in this?
okay. So I'm sure like listening to these projects may have inspired our audience to do the same, get the hands-on ML experience and
Random
build them.
forest, Pearson correlation. Second line had clustering based topics. DV scan K means. The third line had LLMs used for combining all the data and giving a processed output. Fourth line had BERT based encoding and all. So the project was very vast. We were given the population data of the United States. It was the census data basically. The data had information about each region, like how many percentage of people are male, how many are female, how many children are below 15 years of age, below 16 years of age, between 24 to 25, how many people had internet, how many people have internet but no cellular connection, stuff like that. And from that data, we had to construct the architecture where a persona will be given to us, like their name, their address, their age, their income, and in US, a veteran status is a big thing, that they work in the army or not. Their veteran status will be given, their education level will be given, and now we have to form problems related to healthcare that that person might face and provide solutions to it also. So explaining this from starting to the end, like the data pre-processing, selecting the correct features, processing, clustering the census tracts into similar kind of problems that they may face, then processing those problems through LLM so that it gives a good output, forms the problems and solutions in a matured way. Explaining it from starting to the end only took 25 to 30 minutes. So that consumed major part of my interview.
Understood. Thank you everyone for their insights. Now we'll move on to the next question. Now I want to ask that in the final days leading to your interviews, what topics or concepts did you revise? Any last minute tips or helpful resources? Like Priyavrat said in the Toto, he revised Jigsaw algorithm and all. So not that late in the interview, but like in the week or so in the preparation up to that, if you could share like any notes or like last minute algorithms to revise. Anyone could answer that. Shayan, if you want to answer.
Yeah, so two things. The first and the foremost important is your CV. I said earlier, know your CV end to end. You should be
Mhm.
knowing each and every project, internship, even if PORs are there and you are applying for that role also. So know each and everything that you have added in your CV. So first thing is revise your CV. Take help from any of the seniors that have went through the process. Ask them to take a mock interview. Mock interviews are also scheduled by in our campus. It is also scheduled. So like revise your CV enough number of times so that you are confident to speak about it whenever you are asked about it. And second thing, I would go with the DSA. Not like you have to revise the entire DSA, but there are certain algorithms. Mostly they would be related to graph and dynamic programming because these two are like the hot topics in any of the interviews. Even in OAs, you are going to get questions. Definitely, there would be a question from graph or from dynamic programming. So revise these two concepts and your CV, I would say.
Okay. Others, Priyanshu or Priyavat, if any one of you would like to say something to this.
Well,
I
I would
agree.
like to mention that.
Go on.
Okay, let's
Go on.
go on with Priyanshu, then we'll
Uh,
move to Priyavat.
So like you should avoid learning anything new. You should like again prepare your CV, again go through the topics which you have done during the 2 months duration, and like go through with your projects once. And like if you have like a code base of your project, then go through this, understand that what you have done. We might forget the things uh, which you might have done the project back in like 6 months ago or 1 year ago. Maybe like revise the projects multiple times and like again go through your CV. Do not try to learn new things. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, Priyavat.
I very much agree with Shayan because when a company is asking you questions, they don't expect you to know things outside of your CV. Like they can ask you questions and grill you on topics outside of your CV, but they don't expect you to know each and everything that exists. But each and every company will expect you to know everything that is in your CV. And if you have mentioned it, that means you have worked on it. The company assumes this and grills you on that. So go through your CV very thoroughly. Like each and every highlighted point, each and every bold marked words, you have to know each and everything about that word.
Okay,
That is very important.
there was some nice insights in that. I will move on. Go on.
Okay, so interviews can be tricky. How did you communicate your data skills effectively during technical interviews? Any tips on explaining models, showcasing projects, or interpreting data? Sayan, your strategy?
Uh, to be honest, it's a very gray area because uh, once you start explaining, you feel like you want to show that I know this, I did this,
Hmm.
and you might stretch yourself for a longer period of time, and in result, you will bore the person taking your interview, right? But you cannot also like have just a one sentence answer for this. So it's a very gray area to be on. You have to be precise while speaking or communicating. Mostly the interviewer will get to know about your data skills while you are explaining your projects or internship. So when you are explaining your project, uh, like have this preparation enough number of times that you are going to be concise in your explanation that I did this in my project. But during like while you are explaining that, be particular to explain what are the skills or the libraries or the functionalities that you have used during that point. Because if you mention something, uh, suppose I said I have developed a project and I used PyTorch or like a specific library from the PyTorch. So you are going to at the end, steer the interview because you will say something, the interviewer will catch on it and he will ask a follow-up questions on that. And why I'm saying it is a gray area, because if you miss saying that and the interviewer will never know, okay, this person knows the skill and he might judge you on that because he was actually looking for that thing. So you have to be precise while answering. You don't explain much, but you don't explain less as well.
Right. Priyanshu, would you like to continue?
Okay, so as mentioned by Sam, like you need to be precise at the same time, you need to be descriptive enough. So again, I would like to say, try to describe it in a story form. So basically, we'll be starting from the problem statement that this is the problem statement I was trying to address, and this is the preliminary research which I did, and these are the algorithms, like the existing solutions which are there for that particular problem statements, and what, like I tried to mimic that particular solution, what kind of novelty you introduced, as well as like try to start from the scratch and build like go on in the form of story, and at the end of the day, at the end of the project, try to explain that what kind of results you got, the metrics. Again, if it is a simple 0-1 classification problem, try to mention your accuracy, F1 score, and all the other stuff. As well, be ready to answer the why question. So basically, they will be asking you a lot of questions that why that particular thing you have used, why that particular library itself, because it is a standard question. Like they will be asking, they want to know the knowledge behind you that why that particular module has been used by you. So you need to answer that why question as well.
Right. Priyabharat, your tips for the same?
I think this question complements our previous question very well. That is why we need thorough revision of our CVs, because once they catch on to something, they'll start asking questions. Now, if you stammer somewhere or you miss some points of you, and if you are not descriptive enough of your project, they'll eventually feel that you are not honest. And honesty, I think that honesty is very much valued in corporate, because if the recruiter thinks that you are not honest enough, they won't recruit you anyway. So that is the thing. You just have to be thorough with your CV, and when they start asking you questions, be descriptive enough. Go through all the technical points behind that question which they are asking, and answer confidently.
Yes. Right. Thank you. Now moving on to the next question.
Now, till now we have discussed in depth the CTC related stuff, but in the audience there are many who have just cleared their first year and have started exploring data profile, and many of them have already chosen like I want to pursue a career in data only. So for them, but they are very new to this field. So like some of them have basic knowledge, like they have done basic first year courses like linear algebra, advanced calculus, and PTS. So for them, could you explain ki, like what would be a ideal roadmap for them starting from the early onset of the second year till CDC, and like what they should follow, like what should they do ideally in order to get shortlisted for these roles. We would like to start with Priyanshu.
So, like I mentioned earlier, that I started with the courses. So you can explore a couple of basic courses, like those by Andrew NG, or there are like popular YouTube courses as well by Krish Nayak and other YouTubers, popular YouTubers. You can also go through the free code camp as mentioned by Sayan earlier. So like you should start with the courses like basic machine learning algorithms and other stuff. Then eventually should try to apply those things. So basically, again, as I've mentioned that you should be using Kaggle wisely and try to take part in the competitions as well as the past competitions, because you can in Kaggle you can eventually even participate in the past competitions. So once you like you cannot learn everything in the field of machine learning, that like every day a new algorithm is coming which is like defeating the previous algorithm. So eventually if you take part in the competition, you will learn how to apply that particular algorithm, and you will be knowing that what kind of problems are there in the real life. And eventually, if you research about that particular problem, you will find a couple of blocks of the existing solutions. Then you will be moving on to kind of apply the existing solutions, and then you will be researching that what kind of novelty I can introduce to increase the accuracy or other stuffs. So eventually, you should be focusing more on the application part, as well as at the same time, uh, to build upon the base, you should be knowing the mathematics really very well, the basic as well, like not the entire formulas and other stuff, like what kind of equations or what kind of basic principles are being used behind this particular algorithm. And eventually, if you build upon this, you will find that this field is really very interesting. And yeah, and with this interest, you will eventually learn the entire things. And data is the ML field is like a journey. So you will be starting from basic ML, then moving to DL, then moving to Gen AI. So this is not like a duration of 2 or 3 months where you can prepare the entire thing. So you need to learn the things, you need to apply the things, and you need eventually you need to present the things as well in a very much good manner. So yeah, and
Yeah,
this is how I
we'll
think.
yes. Thank you for your insights. We'll move on to Shayan if you want to add something to this.
Okay, so the roadmap that I followed, I will share that. So start with just how Priyanshu said, start with the basic ML and DL things, but keep one thing in mind, you have to do two things simultaneously. Learn about the model, know the mathematics behind it, and at the same time, apply it, be it in a sample competition, in a real competition, or in a self project that you're building in Jupyter or somewhere else. Just apply it to know that, okay, I have learned this and now I can apply this. So these two things should go hand in hand. So do this for the basic ML and DL stuff, and once you're confident in that, choose a particular field in ML, because just how Priyanshu said, every day there's a new algorithm, there's a new field in machine learning or AI. Like you have proper computer vision stuff where you are handling images, videos, and those kind of stuff. You have a proper LLM field where you are just going to be working with texts and speech and everything. You have generative AI field. You have now multimodal fields where you basically are taking different kinds of input. You're you are taking different kinds of input. You're giving different kinds of output. So choose one where you have to be specific about. Like for me, I chose the computer vision field, and that's why I said like I built the LLM project very late, just like 4 months before my CDC. So choose one of the fields, be very good at it, and try to at least have an end-to-end project in that field. Once you have that kind of hold in that field, then you can try to explore other fields as well. And if you are in second year, I would say don't delay, just start learning DSA from now on. You can also start a bit late, but it would be a safe option to start right now, day by day. Just take 1 hour, 2 hour, because guys still have an entire year and the 3 4 months over there in for the summer vacation. So you have a lot of time. Each day, try to have 1 to 2 hours for DSA. If you can devote more, that's going to benefit you more. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you for insights. Now we'll move to Priyavrat. Priyavrat, as he said, like how to use the summer wisely. So could you share your thoughts to how to use this summer wisely while building great foundations in the domain of data?
Uh, to use the summer wisely, I would suggest that if you can get a remote internship, go for it. If you are a little late into the summer, don't go for it. First point. Second point, if you are ready to mold yourself according to the industry requirements, I would say explore Gen AI. Gen AI is something which is required in each and every role right now across each and every industry. Gen AI is because I have seen my friends also who have got internships in various companies. Most of them they are working on Gen AI. They are being told to work on LLMs, get this done, use LLMs as much as possible. So that is the thing. Get into Gen AI if you have time. Explore what Gen AI is, how you apply it, how you use models. Be aware of all the more, be aware of the in general the new models which are coming out, because models come out each and every week. Like there is always a novelty introduced, distilled models of various previous models are introduced. So that is the thing. Get into Gen AI if you have time, because traditional ML will always be there, but the industry is now shifting towards Gen AI more. So that's what I would suggest.
Okay. Thank you all for your wonderful insights. I'm sure it will help many of the people in the audience. We'll move on to the next question.
Yes. Can you kindly share your pearls of wisdom regarding the importance of taking part in Open IIT, Inter IIT, and GC data? Mr. Priyavrat, would you like to start?
Can you repeat your question? Actually, I was not able to.
Okay, I'll say.
Okay, I will repeat.
Rohan, you're not
Yes.
audible. I'll say. Okay, he was asking like to share your pearls of wisdom regarding the importance of taking part in Open IIT, Inter IIT, and GC data. As you all said, like those projects you were asked about quite a lot in your interviews. So kindly share your experience. Mr. Priyavrat, we'll start with you.
Okay, for Open IT, it happens in the odd semesters because there's not much to do. All the halls are busy with illumination. If you can get away with it, just get on with Open IITs and all. I would suggest against it because I was the general secretary maintenance of my all. So go for Open IITs. For Inter IIT, I would say there's a very rough selection process. You have to know a lot of things beforehand. And GC is something which everyone can be a part of. Like they start training you from scratch. They and even if you don't know something, they still need the manpower to that they require you on board to be with them throughout the project. So yes, Open IITs and Inter IITs both have a lot of impact on your CV. Inter IITs, I would say Inter IIT would be at top, GC would be at second, and Open IIT at third. Though it's not a very firm division, but still, from my point of view, Inter IITs are at the top. Then GC and Open IT, I would say it has a flat hierarchy because GC there's a whole structured process. Open IT is individually you can participate also.
Right.
Okay.
So, Sayan, would you like to continue?
Okay, so even though I have never formally taken part in either GC or Open IIT or Inter IIT, but yep, I have had roommates who have taken part. So we used to have long night conversations. So it is beneficial, as Priyavat mentioned. It is going to help you, and if you're going to add it to your CV, it's just another like a golden point that your interviewer gets to mention about, gets to discuss about. So yes, it's going to be beneficial.
Right. Priyanshu, your take on the same?
So yes, like I have participated in all three competitions, and I believe that the ability to work in a team only comes if you are working at that particular team. So like in Open IIT, mainly you will be having your peer mates from your particular year itself. So it gives us a beautiful chance to explore like what others know and what are the areas where you think that you are expert, but you can see somebody doing very much good stuff, so you can learn from them. So learning from peers is an ability which you can develop while you are working with the teams, as well as like it opens a area where you can like communicate the things effectively. So you can communicate your idea to your team members, to your team leaders, as well as like winning, like as well as you will get the notion of like of winning things. So you'll be fighting there for winning the things. So you'll be like each and every day you will be working on to improve the things which you have done in the previous days. So eventually working with the team, working for the team, and working to get the best results eventually comes if you are if you are part of a team, and especially inter-IITs and GCs are like very much good to explore this particular ability.
Right. Thank you for the insights.
That's all for that was all for questions from our side. Now we'll open the floor to the questions from audience. Please type your questions in the chat box and we'll take them up one by one.
Okay, so the first question has been asked. The question is how to publish papers after doing research in this field. So, Sayan, would you like to take on this?
Um, for now, you would need a professor. I had my FTP in second year in one of the professors in Russia. It was remote FTP. So we did work like the official term was for 3 months only, but it extended to 1 year. And like other than me, there were uh, two other people from IIT Kharagpur. So three of us were working in the projects, and since it took us 1 year to reach the level where the professor was satisfied, so we kind of pushed him that we have given 1 year of our hard work, so now you have to publish a paper. Well, to be honest, publishing a paper is not that easy because our uh, four drafts were rejected. Rejected as in when you publish a paper, it first had to go through peer reviews. And in peer reviews, if it has a lot of comments, like they don't understand something or they want something to be added in the paper, so it doesn't get qualified to be, to reach any good conference. So then you have to revise everything, you have to add or remove something or the other. So four times our draft have been rejected, and I guess it's the fifth time we are actually working on it still now. So publishing a paper is very difficult, even though we have published it in a very low journal, like not that, how do you say it? Like a very low quality journal, you can say, because it's not a very well recognized. But yes, it has been published in that, but we are aiming for a higher conference. And yep. Also for you guys, if you are in your fourth year or fifth year, you will do your BTPs and MTPs under one of the professors. So you can also ask your professors for that, because I have a PhD mentor with whom I'm like doing my bachelor's project, and with him I might get to publish my work again. It's not sure, but we are writing the draft. So that's how you do it.
And how did you get to know about that professor? Like randomly through LinkedIn, or were you in touch with him earlier?
Uh, Regarding my BTP, I was asking
Regarding the professor that you found.
for the BTP, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What I'm asking. Okay, so basically you have to like you can have the list of the professors working in different departments. So I targeted the profs from CS or AI departments, and I was going through their Google Scholars, where you can see their H index and the projects they have done. So
Right.
I'm working with Professor Manish Mohan, and his projects were in line with what I am doing or what I'm interested in. And to be honest, when I went to have a talk with him that I want to do such and such bachelor's project under your guidance, he mentioned to me about the project, and it's very new. I mean, none of us have ever thought about it. It's basically building an entire ML model from scratch, but with complex numbers like the weights and the biases, the inputs, the outputs, everything is complex valued. So you can imagine the entire mathematics change. You cannot use a simple linear regression. Even a simple backpropagation will fail in complex numbers because you have to think about the differentiation. Not every function is differentiable in complex domains. So it's a very interesting project, and that's when I agreed to do it, because who doesn't love challenges, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
Priyanshu and Priyavarat, your take on this?
So like
Priyanshu, you can go
again,
first.
okay. So you should be like as mentioned by Sen, like you'll be having mostly BTPs or MTPs. So you like while exploring, you should be knowing that what particular domain excites you most, and you should be finding the professor through their like websites and other things. You can go through their Google Scholar, search for their H-index. You can also talk with the professors that if I do get to know about the professors, what kind of research thing is working on currently since like the things which are mentioned on the website are kind of outdated. So meet the professor and ask him that if I work on this task, what is the chance of getting my paper published? Are you interested in publishing some things? So yeah, this is just basic mechanism.
Right.
Okay.
Uh,
Moving on to the next question. I'll ask, so somebody has asked that generally how many projects should one add in a CV to be on the safe side? Like projects or interns, like minimum number of interns. Anyone could answer. uh,
I don't think there is any specific number. Basically, you have one page and you want to fill the CV because you do not want it to be empty. So if you have done one internship, it is fine as well. If you haven't done any internship, it is also fine as well. Until unless you are able to explain the things in the interview. So you should be thorough with your CV, just not filling it with projects or random internships.
yes. So the next question they asked, like, can they give the DSA rounds in Python, or they are limited to C++ and Java? Yes, Priyamrat, would you like to?
It depends.
Yes.
I'll
Go on,
I'll
Shayan,
start.
go on.
Okay. So
Yeah, go on.
basically, it depends on the company. Some company allows you to choose the language you want, like the website they use for the online assessments. It gives you the freedom. You can do it in Python, C++, Java, any language you prefer. Some companies they have a strict rule. You must use C++. Depends.
Right.
Okay, we have another question. So like somebody's asking how to get started for hackathons. Like any prior preparation required before participating in one? And like, do you have certain hackathons in mind, like which would be a very huge addition to one's CV? Anyone could you, any one of you can answer that.
So like I would like to answer this question. So basically, like for hackathons, you shouldn't be targeting that this hackathon I should be doing. So a first hackathon would be like one of the most basic hackathons you will be participating in. Do not start with the most complex hackathons, like where the prize pool is heavy. So try to target simpler hackathons. Try to get like what hackathons demands. Once you present and once you deliver the solution in a particular hackathon, you will know that yeah, these are the basic process which is needed to be presented in a hackathon. And again, there is a popular hackathon, I think, which eventually occurs in the month of June by MX. So like a campus Super Bowl challenge happens in the month of June or July. I don't know the exact month. So that would be like a big addition to your CV, I think. And as
Okay,
well, I
Right.
again I would like to mention that there is another hackathon. I don't know about the of GS. I guess of the GSIH font hackathon. So you can also search about it.
Yes.
yeah, Shayan,
Sayan,
you
please
want to say
continue.
something?
Uh, might be a bit informal to the person who asked this question. Is there anything prerequisite for a hackathon? I would just say get yourself into a hackathon. When you will read the question and when you will work around the solution, you will get to know, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this. Do I know this? No, then I'll have to learn this. Just throw yourself in the sea and you will learn how to swim through it. That's the very basic answer to that question, to be honest. What are the prerequisites? There's no prerequisite. You get yourself in a hackathon. If you don't know it, just learn it.
Yes.
Priyavat, you
Thank you.
wanted to say something?
Yes, what I would like to add to the question that where to get to know about the hackathons, Unstop, plain and simple. Just go through Unstop and you'll find hackathons. And as Sayan mentioned, I always suggest my juniors one thing, and I would say this in Hindi कि जब तक हाथ पैर नहीं मारोगे तब तक सीखोगे नहीं. So even if you don't know, if you think about the prerequisites, you won't get into stuff which will push you to learn.
Hmm.
So get into it first, and then you'll eventually learn everything. Not everything, but yes, enough.
Okay, that was quite
Right.
insightful. I have another question from the audience. So they are asking, for someone who hasn't used Kaggle till now and not very experienced in it, how should he or she approach that platform? Because as we keep hearing from our seniors, Kaggle is one of the most important platform, should do projects in that, and it is very important for data profile. So how would you guide a beginner to start in Kaggle? Any one of you would like to take that?
So like,
I'll okay, Priyansh, go. Uh,
We'll start with the answer. Yeah, then we'll move on to side.
So basically, to start with Kaggle, I think Titanic dataset is one of the good dataset. So you'll find the various implementation of Titanic dataset in the YouTube or any kind of blog. Just to start with Kaggle as a platform and knowing that how they evaluate your results and how could you use the GPUs available there or any of the module available there. So you can just start with the Titanic datasets. So yeah.
Okay. Sayan, you wanted to add something to this?
just don't be scared of Kaggle. Kaggle is not something very different that you have to learn how to use it. It's just a place where you get a data set, you write code, you use the GPUs they provide, and then you like put your code for there to be evaluated. If it's a good code, you will get a rank. If it's not, you'll get a lower rank. That's it. Kaggle is not such a big deal that you have to learn about. To be honest, I used Kaggle literally twice in my lifetime. Once when I was beginning, and second, it was during one of the OAs. I guess it was for TrexQuant. So these are the two times that I have used Kaggle. So Kaggle is not a very big deal. Yeah, you should use Kaggle. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should use, but don't get afraid of Kaggle. It's just another website. You explore in the website, you will get to know how to use a website.
Yes.
Okay.
Now another question from the audience. Do projects in field like reinforcement learning work in a CV? Yes. Priyanshu, would you like to start?
So like any project which is mentioned in your CV is good until and unless you are able to explain it. If you are not able to explain it thoroughly, the modules you haven't the things you have used in your project, and again the why question that why that particular thing you have used. So if you are doing any of the project and you are able to answer the question posed by the interview, that is a good project. So yeah.
Right. Priyavrat, would you like to continue?
Yes, I agree with Priyanshu. Like, there's not a specific topic that if it is there, then your CV is good. Yeah, every everything is fine. You just have to be thorough.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
We'll
so
take up one last question. So many people, in campus are obsessed with web development. So like, can one use or leverage web development um, for data roles and put that in CV, like by assimilating AI tools in a website and doing so and so, or like not doing web development at all will affect any chance. It will affect one's chances in getting into a data room. So like, yes, any one of you would like to share their opinion on this?
I will share my experience. Like, I had one co-applicant in Piramal, and he had an interview. He didn't have an ML project in his CV. He was outright rejected by saying that I have not selected the recruiter said that I have not selected a single person who did not have ML in the CVs. So that is the thing. Dev, when you go for dev, you learn very important topics like uh, which you will require in the industry like AWS. Even if you are in data, you require these skills like you need to know about AWS, you need to know about Snowflake, you need to know about the SQL queries and all. In the end, it doesn't matter that much that if you don't have dev in your project, you won't get a data role. You just have to be very thorough with whatever you have done. Even if you have a mixed CV with some projects with data and some projects with dev, data is also fine. But just have, if you're targeting specifically for a data role, just don't leave your CV empty with them.
Okay.
Right. So
And then the
moving
last
on to the
question.
next, yes,
Yeah.
moving on to the next question. So there's a doubt that do companies like Amex only need high-level DSA or good knowledge of Python and ML math will be enough? Yes, Sayan, please share your pearls of wisdom with us.
To be am I audible?
Yeah, you already.
Yes, audible.
Okay. So to be honest, I haven't given the interview of Amex, but from my friends, as far as I know, you need to have a decent knowledge of everything. It's not just Python, just DSA. You need to have a good knowledge of DSA for Python and like all the stuffs related to the data role for any company. It is not just for the Amex, it is for any company.
Right. Priyavrat, would you like to continue? Yes. Priyavrat, would you like to continue? Yes. Okay. So am I audible? Yes.
If you're saying something, you're not audible. Okay. So we'll move on to the next question. Go on.
Okay. So the question is like, does a CP rating play a very crucial role in shortlisting for data roles? Like, does one get a edge over the other if one has a better CP rating?
Sayan, would you like
Yes.
to take that? Priyanshu. Sayan, you can go ahead.
Uh, Personally, no, because in data roles, nobody checks your ranking. I started with my DSA, to be honest, just 3 months before CDC. I had a ranking around 400 or 500, and during the interviews, I wasn't giving any of the competitions or giving them half-heartedly, so the ranking even dipped. But it didn't matter in my case. And as far as I know, none of my friends had to mention their ranking in any of the data specific interviews. It does matter, however, in software development, but in data, it doesn't.
Right.
However, if you have a good ranking, you can definitely mention it. It will give you an advantage, a bonus. But if you don't have a good ranking, don't be disheartened. It doesn't matter.
Right. Now, Priyanshu, would you like to say something? Like, would you like to add anything?
Similar thoughts from Sen. So, like the shortlisting mainly depends on the OA. Okay, so you need to be good enough and during your online assessment and try to complete the questions. As far as like if there are 3 questions, you should be doing the 3 questions in order to get a shortlist. Okay, so shortlist only depends on your OA kind of, and somewhat resume, like a mixed match of resume and OA, but mainly OA.
Yes. Priyavrat, please share your thoughts.
Am I audible right now?
Yeah.
Yes, you are
You
audible.
Okay. So see, I made my account on Code Forces on the May of the vacation. So I had 2 months. My rating was 1149. It's still 1149. After CDC, I did not open Code Forces. So rating doesn't matter that much if you are aiming for data role. And saying specifically for data role. Yes, it does matter when you go for SD and all, but for data, I don't think it matters that much. For Pyramid also, I had a lot of questions, like theoretical based questions on ML, DL, a lot of ML stuff. I had two coding questions. I was able to complete only 1.5.
Right.
So I don't think companies focus that much on code forces rating for data role. But yes, they definitely do in like the SD ones.
Okay.
That
So
was all from our side from the Q&A from audience. We'll move on to the our next segment.
So thank you, panelists, for your thoughtful and detailed responses. Well, before we wrap up, is there any last minute advice, tip, or in KGP lingo, any funda you like to share that we haven't already discussed? Sayan, would you like to start?
EDC है भाई, पीस लो, इतना लोड वाला कोई चीज नहीं है, ठीक है, चिल रहो. I have literally seen people getting paranoid because of not getting shortlisted in first week or in second week even. नहीं है इतना लोड, ठीक है, सीडीसी है, आराम से अपना काम करते रहो. टेक द फेलियर्स एज अ लेसन कि भाई इस इंटरव्यू में नहीं हुआ तो व्हाट वाज द रीजन. Take a learning from that, get prepared for the another one. There are going to be numerous opportunities during the CDC session for you, so don't be disheartened. That's it.
Right. Priyavrat, would you
One
like to
general,
continue? Yes.
one general funda which everybody needs to realize is CDC is like 50% of your hard work, and I would say 50% is luck. Luck is very important. You cannot do anything about it. So don't focus on things which you can't control. Focus on things which you can. And yes, don't be disheartened. I was, and that was a big mistake of mine. Don't be. Because eventually, even if you don't get one from on campus, you'll definitely get one off campus. So CDC thing is, people have made CDC something like an achievement, something that is very glorified in our campus, which I've seen throughout the year. So it is not something like that. Once you get an internship, also nothing changes that much. Just your life becomes a little easier. You don't have to look for opportunities over LinkedIn, and you don't have to do board meeting, but nothing changes as much as uh, people glorify it. So that is the thing. It is not that big of a thing, but yes, it is important. You learn from it, but don't be so focused on one thing. Explore, go for other things.
Right. And Priyanshu, would you like to continue?
Yeah, so like similar thoughts from my uh, panel mates. So don't take CDC very much loaded kind of thing. It's just a part of your academic career. And as well as during the last days, just focus on what have you learned during the 2 months, whatever things you have learned, whatever short notes you must have made during your preparation journey, as well as the important problems. Somebody who's preparing for DSA, the important problems, just go through it. As well as if you are somebody who was like too much worried about shortlist and all that stuff, so don't be too much worried about the shortlist on day one or day two. Don't go with the day one, day two tag. If you are somebody who's specifically, most of the people in the meeting are for targeting for data profiles. Data companies do generally come after day one and day two. It would be only after day two that you will see a majority chunk of the companies targeting for the data roles. So don't think that if I didn't got day one or day two, I won't be eventually able to make into a good company. So yeah, this is just general fund day.
Yeah. Thank you for the funda session. Now, moving on to PrepNest. It is a platform built for internships and placements. It offers 4 broad features: AI resume review, AI interviews, resource hub, and mentorship. So the AI resume review analyzes your CV based on 4 pillars: basics, impact, visual, and relevance. Basics scores the basic content of your resume. Visual scores the format of your CV. And relevance, it tells how relevant your CV actually is. An AI agent also takes your AI interview with live AI generated video and audio, giving you the feel of a real interview. So today we at Communiqué launched the Job Ready Challenge. Sign up on the platform using the QR link below. Upload your resume and give an AI interview. Get scores and feedback on your job readiness. So Janta, scan the QR code and iterate on your CV and yourself.
Okay. Now, Janta, before we wrap up, we hope to see you for our next session focused on careers in consulting, which will be as insightful as this kind. Kindly join that too at 8 p.m. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you, panelists, for your achievements and sharing with us.
Okay, bye guys.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
for
Bye,
inviting
guys.
me. Bye.